Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod. We have Mike Lee with us. Mike is the co-founder and CEO at Fundica. With his funding search engine, entrepreneurs support organizations and acquire and retain businesses clients by helping them effortlessly identify and apply the most relevant funding available. So it's basically a funding platform, which is quite popular in Canada. Lots of these programs. I certainly used one of them with one of my first company back then, which was a nootropic company, so in the pharma space. So quite interesting company. We're going to talk about it today. It's brought by podpar.com, this podcast. It's my podcasting company if you want to start to scale a podcast. And also brought to you by 88 Herbs. That's one of my friend's company. It's a supplement that helps you relax. In that case, ashwagandha. They also have L-theanine and Go Plus, which is another little nootropic for your brain as an entrepreneur if you have a busy day. Mike, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Hey, Charles. Well, pleasure to be part of the call today. Thanks for inviting me. So what I've been focusing on the last few years is really Fundica. So really a funding search engine. So to make the string shorter between money and a business and make it as easy as possible to go between the two. So that's been my focus. And, we're trying to get that string shorter and shorter. Gradually, we're getting there.
Right. And why did you decided to found that company 7 years ago? I believe you did 23 years at R&D Partners.
Yeah, so I've been working, if I kind of go way back, I'm an engineer, MBA, CFA, so lots of school. I worked in some big companies, but I really love the small company that was kind of getting going. And in the early 2000s, I kind of moved towards that, and I worked for some different startups and kind of helped them in different ways in funding. And one thing I realized is that my experience in mergers and acquisition was nice, but for the smaller growth company, it was just too early. And there was lots of kind of big funding rounds we could go for, but for the most part, the easy money and the first thing people should look at was government funding. So I started working in that space and helping them, and did pretty well. I think over the years, over 400 million, I've helped small businesses go get that in terms of government funding. But I always kind of dreaded that question I'd get once in a while, and they'd say, "Okay, Mike, great, you helped us get a few $100,000 here, a few $100,000 there. It's great. This has been really important and significant for us. But what else is there?" And that's where I kind of felt like I was busted, Charles, and I'd kind of like, oh, I only really know a few of them. I don't know them all, and I'm not up to date on everything. But fortunately, we had a few big clients that kind of said, "Can you boil the ocean for us and find every program, and we will, pay for your time to go do that." So we did that a few times, and then we realized we should really put all this together. And with all the technology available today, we can make a platform that is comprehensive, that it's up to date and relevancy ranked, so people can find the funding that's available for them easily.
Right, because in Canada, we're quite generous on that level. Do you feel that this is making startups more competitive on a national level via Silicon Valley startups, for example?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big deal in Canada. I mean, we did do a survey last year of over 800 small businesses responded, and they said their number one concern or problem or challenge, whichever way you want to look at it, is finding funding. So 42% of them said that's their number one thing, and that was a rise from the year before. So certainly it's a big thing. Our platform works across Canada and also in the US, so we're in both countries. And I think in both places to different degrees, people have not gone to government funding right away, even though it's cheaper, it's less onerous, and the only reason they haven't gone there is because it's just too hard to figure out. So yeah, we're trying to make it easier, but really trying to do it everywhere across North America.
And you're serving a couple of different clients, financial institutions, accounting firms, governments, accelerators. How do you target these folks? How do you get in touch with them?
Yep. So we basically license our solution to different entrepreneur support organizations like the ones you listed. And how do we get in touch with them? I think we use all the kind of different ways. We have like a marketing team, we have a sales team. So we're trying really all the different channels. Certain areas we seem to do better and than others. but we're continually trying all of them. And I don't know if there's one easy secret for us. It's really just a lot of hard work has gotten us there.
Right. And this kind of business, what kind of profitability can it have, and what do you spend the most on? What are your core expenses?
Right. So certainly spend primarily on salaries. So we have a good-sized team, and that's where we spend almost all our money on. We do have a IT infrastructure as well, so there's some spent on that. And then, other expenses would be, all the typical expenses you expect with a company. We are SOC 2 compliant, so we have some compliance related things. We have some IP protection as well in place. So a few of those types of expenses. We do ends up doing some traveling, business development, so across a number of them, but really salaries is the big expense for us.
And in terms of growth, since COVID, how is the trajectory has looked like for the company?
Well, it's been great. So basically, we founded in 2017 and we started hiring employees. Our first employees were hired after COVID hit. So in April of 2022. And now we've gotten up to, I think as of this week, I think we're over 20 employees. So it's really been in the last 4 years that we've scaled.
Right. And in terms of sales goals, because I guess you can make money by better serving these clients or acquiring new clients, how much effort is invested into the product vs in sales?
I think we're really investing in both. So we have we have kind of a sales and marketing team. We have, our kind of data team. We have, behind the scenes, our development team, being our biggest team. So we really have a bit of everything. And we really need to kind of move everything together forward.
And as a founder, what have been your greatest challenges managing that company?
Yeah, I think it's on the one end is trying to do as much as possible and move as fast as we possibly can, and at the same time do it in the most responsible way possible. Kind of think of all the things that need to be done to kind of get there. So it's always, I kind of find like I've got this, you got to be persistent and kind of keep going, but at the same time, you need to be patient, and managing those two different components is challenging at times.
And how does one do that? Because I often have this conflict myself, which like, oh, things should be going faster. But then if you do that, you're sort of losing energy and going in a not so positive momentum. So sometimes I meditate and chill, go for a walk, or just be stoic about it and just focus on the best course of action to get me to the results that I want. So, any tools for us when you're having these conversations with yourself?
I mean, probably the biggest thing is the people around me. So just having awesome people around me. I'm super lucky. My co-founders, my friends, my network, and like I sometimes I have to just kind of put my head down and work hard. And in some ways that's therapy on its own. But other times it's really like, okay, I need to go do some other things and really see the big picture from a point of view outside of the company. So a bit of both. It's a constant, juggling game or balancing game.
Do you feel that Montreal can compete on the international level, especially when it comes to AI?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Montreal is one of the best places in the world for AI. I think in terms of talent, it's awesome too. We got 4 universities, and the size of the city we have, it's a very high density of well-educated individuals, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different interesting things going on. So I think it's a great place for AI, but for a lot of businesses as well.
So if you'd be Minister of Commerce, what measures would you implement to have startups have more success on the international scale?
Oh, very good question. Well, you mean in Montreal or anywhere?
In Canada, let's say.
Okay. Um, well, I think one thing I see if I look at Canadians versus Americans, and I hate to kind of do the stereotype thing, but definitely Americans in general are very are more aggressive business wise. You know, they really want to go for it. They're let's go for the big enchilada. They really whereas Canadians are kind of, you know, more a little more conservative, a little kind of careful the way they do things. Um, so I think that some of that U.S. mentality is actually good for Canadians, um, and probably vice versa as well. So I think there would be some things I would try to do there. It's hard though as a government to really change culture and change the way things are done. You know, it's not. I think if there's a lot of things I would look at, some of the government programs I see are awesome, and I think they are really making a difference. I think there are others that are not. You know, I think there's some institutions in Canada and some people that work in those institutions that are phenomenal, and other ones where I think they're just spending money to spend money. So there's I think some a lot of small, medium things that need to be fixed, and then I would change. Um, but I think overall, I would, if I was kind of the, let's say, higher up in the government, I would very much want to kind of inspire, if anything, the next crew of entrepreneurs, you know, get them like dreaming, get them going, get them thinking about things.
Propaganda. So invest in TV ads. Put the Shopify guy at the top of that and fund his incubator or something like that. Because I think that's like the greatest traction that Silicon Valley and San Francisco has. It's like all these success stories, you know.
Yeah,
Nowadays we're
yeah.
hearing a lot about Devon AI, brand new company that's already valuated at $2 billion, that's gonna create AI agents for software engineering. So quite exciting. Now, last question for you.
Mhm.
As a founder, what do you like spending on personally in your life that gives you a nice ROI in your energy levels, your productivity, and your happiness?
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, I love, you know, doing things with my family. I think that's way up there. So we go on trips, we do sports together, we do activities together. So I love that. I play a number of sports. I love that. I perhaps at times spend too much time or money on that. Um, you know, so I think those are a couple of the areas where I would like to, let's say, overspend on. And you know, I think there's so much to do out there. There's so much to see. There's so many fun things to go do. You know, there's I got my list of the ones I want to see, but I encourage others to go out and do them as well. The
Yeah,
ones they have.
experiences, they stay up there forever. And yeah, I'm the same. When it comes to health, it's unlimited budget. You can't cut corners when it comes to your health, investing in sports, and so forth. Thank you for coming today, Mike. Where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can go and find out more about me on LinkedIn. So just do Mike Lee and you do Fundica in Google, and you'll find me pretty quick. And yeah, if I can be of help, by all means, reach out. It would be a pleasure to speak with you and you know, exchange views.